Hello everyone, Akadave here for a new top 5 list. In this top 5 list, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite shows of all time, Kamen Rider. If you don't know what Kamen Rider is, here's a little bit of background information for you. Kamen Rider is a tokusatsu series where the main character gets a transformation device, transforms into a costumed hero, and fights crime. Kamen Rider was created by a man named Shotaro Ishinomori in 1971. This man has also created such things as Cyborg 009 and Super Sentai. That's where Power Rangers comes from. You've probably noticed the word Heisei in this video. I'm not going to give you the exact definition of the word or what it means, but I will leave a link in the description, so there's that at least. What it does mean for Kamen Rider though is any Kamen Rider series from 2000 onwards. Before we get started with this list, I'd like to point out that these are my favorite Kamen Rider series, not like the best of all time, just so you know. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get on to this list. Number 5. The number 5 spot on this list goes to
Kamen Rider Kiva.
Kamen Rider Kiva is the 9th Heisei Kamen Rider series, and it came out in 2008. But it takes place in two timelines, which are 2008 and 1986. The 2008 timeline follows Wataru, who is Kamen Rider Kiva. He fights a race of life-sucking creatures known as the Fangire. So they're basically like vampires with a stained glass motif. The 1986 timeline, however, follows Wataru's dad, who is known as Otoya. Oh, by the way, I'm not actually going to give you a deep synopsis of these shows because I would like you to see these shows for yourself. So I'm sorry if you're actually looking for, information about this show. But what I can tell you is that this series isn't that great. And looking back, it kind of gives me a Twilight vibe a little bit. And I don't know if it's because Kamen Rider Kiva came out in 2008 and the Twilight movie came out in 2008. So I don't know if there's any coincidence there. But if I don't think it's that great, then why is it on this list? Well, this was actually my very first Kamen Rider series, so it kind of holds that special place in my heart. It was the first one I've ever watched, so yeah, I'm a little biased towards that. So oh well. But the show does have its moments, and I really do love the costume designs of the riders. So I would honestly recommend checking this out if you like a series with a little bit of a gothic feel, because it deals with vampires and a lot of stuff like that. Now, on to the next number. Number 4. The Kamen Rider series that takes the number 4 spot is
Kamen Rider 5.
Kamen Rider Five was the 4th Heisei Kamen Rider series, and it came out in 2003. The series' main character is a person called Takumi, and I'm sorry that I'm butchering these Japanese pronunciations, but yeah, just bear with me. Of course, he plays Kamen Rider Five, and he fights a beings. Yeah, that's great. He fights a race basically called the Orphanok, who are supposedly the next step in evolution. Our main character makes some friends and enemies away, and some of his friends are actually Orphanok, because you do learn that not all Orphanok are bad and just want to live normal lives. This series also started a kind of tradition of the secondary rider kind of being an asshole, but in this series, he's an asshole. Oh, and the main character's girl companion person actually stars in Kamen Rider Kiva as well, so look out for that. Yeah, this one right here. I really did enjoy this show, honestly, until the end, which it kind of ruined for me, mostly because of the main bad guy. It seemed rushed, like really rushed, but I really enjoyed the ride. Now let's get on to number 3. Number 3. The number 3 spot on this list goes to
Kamen Rider Kabuto.
Kamen Rider Kabuto is the 7th Heisei Rider, and it came out in 2006. Gotta be honest with you guys, the only true, real reason I love this show is purely aesthetics. I love the look of all the riders, I love the look of the monsters, I love the look of the belts, I love the look of the weapons. But how is the story? It's okay. The main character of the show is Tendo Soji, who will walk the path of heaven. Something, 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 blah, 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 Gurren Lagann joke, drill, pierce heavens stuff. But yeah, Tendo Soji is basically perfect at whatever he does. He also doesn't really grow much as a character throughout the show. But why is this number 3 on the list and not number 5? Well, I guess I'm just a shallow person because I really just love the design of everything in this show. Now let's get on to the next one. Number 2. The number 2 Kamen Rider is...
Number 2.
No, it's not number 2 from Austin Powers. Austin Powers, get out of my video. But the real number 2 spot goes to...
Kamen Rider Den-O.
Kamen Rider Den-O is the 8th Heisei Kamen Rider, and the series began in 2008. The series has to deal with time travel. Yay, time travel! The main character is Ryutaro Nogami, and his basic character trait is that he has immense bad luck. We learn that Ryutaro is a singularity point, which apparently means that he is immune to the changes of history. So if someone changed history, he wouldn't be affected by it. Yeah. The monsters of this series are beings called Imagine, which are basically wish-granting demons from the future. The basic plot is Ryutaro going through time and fighting these Imagine. But he's a horrible fighter, so he has help. And this is actually one of my favorite aspects of Kamen Rider Den-O. Each form he takes is actually a different Imagine possessing him and having its own personality, so each form has its own personality. Sword form being Momotaros, rod form being Urataros, axe form being Kintaros, and gun form being Ryutaros. This series is very comedy heavy, but it actually gets serious later on, so I really like that. The only main problem I have with this series is it just never ends. After the series ended, there was about 7 movies that were made. Yeah, let that sink in. I mean, yes, we get it. Den-O's popular. We all love Den-O. Yay! Stop it! This series was so popular that it actually got a Shin-Chan crossover, which I would recommend seeing because I love both Den-O and Shin-Chan. And I should also mention that the main character, Ryutaro, is the main character of the live-action Rurouni Kenshin series. He plays Kenshin. Yeah. If you didn't, I'll stop talking now. And now that leaves the number 1 pick. Whatever could that be? And my favorite Heisei Kamen Rider series is...
Kamen Rider Double.
Kamen Rider Double is my absolute favorite Heisei Kamen Rider series. Why do you ask? Well, the suit designs, awesome. The villains, awesome. The monsters, awesome. Kamen Rider Double is the 11th Heisei Rider, and it debuted in 2009. It is also canon with the Showa era. Kamen Rider Double stars 2 main characters, which are Shotaro and Philip. The monsters they fight in this series are called Dopons, which fits because the people who turn into the monsters in this series use a thing called Gaia Memories, and they are distributed like drugs, kind of. So dope, dopant, you get the picture. Shotaro is a self-proclaimed hard-boiled detective. He is not hard-boiled at all. Philip is the brains of the operation, and he can basically access a library in his mind and gain knowledge to everything that ever was. This series is a little different because the two main characters become one Kamen Rider. I could tell you a lot more about this series, but that would honestly require a whole nother video just to cover Kamen Rider Double. And that was my top 5 list of my favorite Kamen Rider series of the Heisei era. If you didn't see your favorite Heisei Kamen Rider series, it's either one of two things. I didn't like it as much as you, or I just didn't see it. Thank you all for watching, and this has been Akadave signing off. Goodbye.